Ether. Not only is it that shit that'll make your soul burn slow, it's also the name for a big battle rap event happening this Saturday in Los Angeles. What's going on, everyone? I am HBY, Michael to those that know me better, and I'm coming to you with my predictions for what's sure to be one of the biggest battle rap events of 2014, Ether. This card put together by Lush One is being thrown by the Fresh Coast Media Group and Film on TV. The main event is gonna feature Dizaster, the former King of the Dot champion, taking on Cassidy. The Ether card is very stacked. There was a good 10 or 11 battles that are happening on this card, so let me jump into these predictions real quick for Ether. Let me start off first with two battles that are not even on the official flyer. We have Nitty representing Phoenix, Arizona, battling Billy Boondocks from Los Angeles. Nitty has been on a tear through King of the Dot, battling everyone from Arsonal to B-Magic, O-Red, and Tycoon Tax, and Billy Boondocks is a battler who actually was around back in grind time under the name Mr. E.T., but in the last couple of years he's been working his way back up through the ranks in A-Hat and King of the Dot's Ground Zero division. But for this battle, I'm gonna call it 3-0. No body bag for Nitty. Simply put, I think Nitty has a better stage presence, and he has some serious punchlines that are going to be looking a little bit better compared to what Billy Boondocks will be bringing to the table. And the next battle up, we have Cali Smoov representing Los Angeles, California, taking on Caustic from Union City, California. Much like Billy Boondocks, Cali Smoov has battled all throughout leagues like A-Hat and LA Battlegrounds. He even battled Nitty on King of the Dot earlier this year in a one-rounder. Cali Smoov is a decent rapper, but I'm going to call that one 3-0, complete with a body bag zipped up in favor of Caustic. Caustic has proved several times in the past that he's the ultimate character assassin in battle rap. I mean, shit, if you can give me hard evidence on where Q Shinobi and Jefferson Price are, I'm gonna PayPal you $10, and that's the first person that can give me that information. Oh, and I almost forgot, it was announced earlier this week that Bizzy Bone from the legendary rap group Bone Thugs-n-Harmony will be battling at Ether, but against who? Who knows? I have my wish list of wanting to see him against people like Daylyt or Ill Will, but we'll see what Lush has in store this Saturday at Ether. But now, let's jump into the battles that are on the flyer for Ether. First up, we're gonna start off with Official from New Orleans, taking on Godiva, representing Yonkers, New York. These two are definitely some of the best female battle rappers out right now. Official had one of the best battles of the year against C3, and she held her own against Couture and E. Hart earlier this year. And Godiva had a breakthrough 2013, working her way up through Queen of the Ring, and even having one of the best battles of the year against Young Gaddis on King of the Dot at World Domination 4. Bonnie is definitely a good writer. Official has a performance and writing game on lock, thus why I think Official is going to take this battle 2-1 by a very close margin. Bonnie is a good writer, but Official's performance game, even meaner. Let's get into the next battle. We have Bigg K, representing Chicago, Illinois. One of the top names in the last few years in URL. He's also battled this year for the first time in such leagues as King of the Dot, Don't Flop, and Guerrilla Warfare, taking on Aktive, representing Watts, California, and Crack City. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Aktive, just remember, Aktive isn't quite a new name on the scene. He was battling back in the day at the Pit, which was LA's answer to what was going on around 2007 at the Fight Club in New York City. Aktive's a good writer. Bigg T is one of the best performers when he's really on his shit. Thus why I think Bigg T is gonna beat Aktive 2-1, but by a pretty close margin. Aktive definitely has good writing, but Bigg T, as much as some people will say that he's kind of fallen off in his battles against people like Bender on King of the Dot, B-Magic, in URL, he just seems to have a better commanding stage presence. And also, his punchlines are such haymakers. And I think Bigg T has kind of seen what went wrong during his run earlier this year, where he was battling every other couple of weeks. And we saw glimpses of the old Bigg T when he took on Gemini leads on Don't Flop's 6th birthday weekend card. What we got coming up after Bigg T versus Aktive is a matchup of two of the most beloved battle rappers on the West Coast. We have Heartless, representing that SONS from Stockton, California, going up against the Figueroa, the Bar God, Danny Myers, representing Los Angeles, California, and Las Vegas, Nevada. This is going to be one of the first battles on this card where it will probably come down to preference. Keep in mind, Heartless is one of the best writers in all of battle rap, period. He's like a battle rapper's battle rapper when it comes to wordplay. However, Danny Myers has that combination of being able to command a room no matter what size and also have some haymaker punchlines. For that battle, here's how I'm gonna break this down. Heartless will probably have the better writing, but Danny Myers is gonna have the better writing and performance. And unless Heartless brings the same intensity that he had when he was doing that use an arm scheme on Calico back in grind time, I've got Danny Myers taking it 2-1. The crowd's definitely wanting to see if Danny Myers will achieve the Super Saiyan level 4 in the course of that battle. But let's get into the next battle up on the card. We have a battle that I personally have been waiting to see for many, many years, because we have Real Deal from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a battler who's battled in all sorts of leagues, ranging from URL, King of the Dot, Grind Time, Don't Flop out in England, Got Beef out in Australia, going up against the former two-time World Rap Champion, Illmaculate from Portland, Oregon. This is going to be the first battle that I'm going to say is going to be too close to call. I don't know, I just cannot call a winner for Real Deal versus Illmac, simply because these two are so evenly matched. When they're both on their A game, they both bring some of the best angles around. Their punchlines, crazy. Multis game, insane. Freestyle rebuttals, both on point. This is definitely going to be a sleeper highlight, in my opinion, for Ether. But if I had to pick a winner, I'm going to say Illmaculate 2-1 in the building, but I would not be surprised if Real Deal manages to take this battle on camera just by the slightest margin. Next battle up, we have Illmaculate's Jump Off World Rap Championship partner TheSaurus, the former two-time Scribble Jam champion, the former King of the Dot champion, going up against Arsonal the Rebel, the former Fight Club champion, who's also the most viewed battle rapper in all of North America. I'm surprised this battle hasn't happened, considering how many times they've crossed paths with each other at various Grind Time and King of the Dot events over the years. This may be another styles preference battle. Both of their resumes are solid. They've battled all sorts of different styles of opponents. But for this battle though, honestly, I'm gonna call that one 2-1 for TheSaurus. While Arsonal may have some disrespectful angles about TheSaurus' daughter or TheSaurus' exes and face jokes for TheSaurus' crater face, I think TheSaurus is gonna bring some of the best angles that he's brought in a long time. I'll put it to you like this. Remember TheSaurus' third round against John the Don about how John the Don was advertising a pyramid scheme on Twitter? I think TheSaurus may have something similar for Arsonal in regards to UW not really prospering that well as a battle league ever since they threw that high stakes event that was headlined by Loaded Lux versus Hollow the Don. And we have the third to last battle on this card. We have Bigg K representing that 757 going up against Conceited, one of the most high profile battle rappers in the game today, having transitioned from URL and Grind Time all the way up to Nick Cannon's Wildin' Out on MTV2. This is definitely going to be a good battle to see who has the better punchlines. Conceited has cemented his reputation over the years for having some of the best punchlines around, while Bigg K in the last 2 years has managed to go from battling people like Half Past 7 on the URL Proving Grounds to successfully holding his own against such veterans as TheSaurus, Averb, Arsonal, and B-Magic just this year alone. This is going to be a very close one, considering Conceited's coming off of a comeback battle against B-Magic back at URL Summer Madness 4, and Bigg K is coming off of a series of battles against B-Magic, Arsonal, and Averb, where his opponents didn't necessarily prepare all that much for him. But I'm going to call this one 2-1 for Bigg K. When Conceited's punchlines connect, no doubt they're some of the best in the world of battle rap. But even Bigg K's setups, the bars leading up to the punchline, are haymakers in themselves. This will definitely be a make or break battle for Bigg K in my opinion. If he manages to make Conceited look as bad as Conceited was against Charlie Clips, then I have absolutely no doubt that Bigg K is going to cement his status as one of the 10 best active battle rappers around. But I would not be surprised if Conceited manages to bring some of his best punchlines around, considering he hasn't really been that active this year. But now, we're coming up to the 2 last battles on the card. And these matchups, I never thought I'd see these. Because for the first one that you have as the co-main event, Daylyt, the most talked about battler, the most controversial and divisive figure in all of battle rap, representing Watts, California, and he's taking on the former Fight Club champion, representing New Jersey, Serius Jones. And if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be Serius Jones' first time battling out on the West Coast. This is going to be a very hard matchup to call for sure, simply because of Daylyt. I have no doubt that Serius Jones is going to be bringing his A game to this particular battle. I mean, I thought Serius Jones did very well against Charlie Clips back at Summer Madness 2, and from the video that Serius Jones released of his rounds that he would have used for Math Hoffa at Summer Madness 3 if Math hadn't punched him out, Serius Jones actually had some solid bars. But when it comes to Daylyt, he's definitely an unpredictable figure. If we get the same Daylyt that battled the likes of Chilla Jones, Charlie Clips, Lotta Zay, and Rich Dollars, then I have a feeling that Daylyt is going to come out of Ether with the W 2-1. I know that some people are confused as far as why this matchup was put together, but I think this is definitely going to be another highlight for Ether. I've been looking forward to seeing Serius Jones back in the ring, and Daylyt, when he is on his A game, is literally one of the best battle rappers around. Now let's get into the final match, the main event, the crown jewel of the Ether card. We have Dizaster representing Los Angeles, California, the former King of the Dot champion, one of the most prolific battlers in the modern YouTube era, going up against Cassidy, the hustler hustler from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is going to be the very first time that Cassidy has hopped back into the ring since the days that he was battling Freeway in the studio. This is definitely going to be an interesting styles clash. From what I've been able to gather, Cassidy is more kind of like a laid-back kind of a rapper who will do like a 2-bar setup to a punchline, and Dizaster is quite simply one of the most energetic figures in battle rap. Think about the kind of combination that Dizaster brings to the stage when he's able to effortlessly weave in and out of his freestyle and written material effortlessly. And he has those hard-hitting punchlines coupled up with some of the most insane multis that you will ever hear in the world of battle rap. But for this particular battle, a battle that I know a lot of people are going to be watching live on etv.com/rap for that Ether pay-per-view, I'm going to go with that one 3-0 for Dizaster. It may or may not be a body bag though, considering on what Cassidy brings to the table. Keep in mind, with Cassidy, there's a certain uncertainty with what he's going to do out there. And history has not been kind to industry rappers jumping back into battle rap. We all saw what happened to Cannabis, choking for an hour and having to pull out a notepad. Even Joe Budden this year, putting the microphone down during his Total Slaughter battle against Hollow the Don. There's a lot of factors that, as confident and as arrogant as Cassidy seems, that I'm not sure if he's actually prepared for. And while I do think that the crowd is at least going to be fair against Cassidy for the first round, what's going to be going through Cassidy's mind the first time that he does a bar that doesn't go over well with the crowd? When there's just deafening silence, that's something that I don't think guys like Cassidy are really prepared for. And also, Cassidy has never battled in this kind of environment. Sure, he's battled on street corners and studios, and supposedly he's battled 5,000 people all through New York City and shit. But this is going to be in front of a very large crowd in the Belasco Theatre. And being able to control that kind of a crowd, you know, you have to have a lot of battles under your belt to be able to have that kind of crowd control. And Dizaster can command a crowd like this. Word to Laura Tarsi. All Cassidy has to do is just rap, stop at the appropriate times when there's crowd applause, and just keep going. Even if there's deafening silence, just keep rapping. But I do think Dizaster will take this battle. It won't look like as much of a massacre as his Cannabis battle, but it's still gonna be a pretty eventful battle. And those are my predictions for Ether. Whew! If you're in Los Angeles, I think there's still some tickets available. If you can't make it though to the event, make sure you go buy the pay-per-view over at etv.com/rap. But I wanna know from you, who do you think is going to have the best performance? What's going to be the sleeper battle of the night? And who do you think is going to have the worst performance of the entire card for Ether? Let me know down in the comments below. But that's going to do it for me. You're all fantastic. Continue to stay awesome, and I'll see you next time. Cheer.